Hey fellow soldiers, I'm so happy that you're here. Let's sharpen our swords together as we dive deep into scriptures. My name is Jennifer Wilson Pressley, and we're going to be looking today at Exodus chapter 2. Exodus chapter 2, verses 11 through 22. We're going to be looking at two different accounts in the life of Moses. Moses is mentioned a lot in the Old Testament. In fact, there are 4 books that talk a lot about his life. The books of Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. He is not only mentioned there, but he is mentioned in a chapter in the New Testament, Hebrews chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11 is known as the Hall of Faith. These are men and women of the Bible who were courageous and stepped out in faith time and time again in their lives. You know, out of all of the people that are mentioned in Hebrews chapter 11, the person that is mentioned the most is this guy, Moses. There are 7 verses devoted just to him and how he stepped out in faith time and time again in his life. You know, he's not only mentioned in that chapter, but his parents are mentioned. His parents stepped out in faith. You know, if his parents had not stepped out in faith, then there would be no Moses today. Moses would not be in existence, and it would have really changed the course of history. You know, what were his parents, what were their courageous acts of faith? You know, during this time when the Israelites, and Moses and his parents are both Israelites, they are being controlled by the Egyptians. This wicked king Pharaoh, Pharaoh is a very wicked Egyptian. And he is very fearful of the Israelites because the Israelites are increasing. Their population is increasing. They're having lots and lots of babies. And he fears that if their population increases, that's going to be a threat to him. They're going to overthrow him one day. So he's got a plan for this. He is going to pass a law in which it's not going to affect the Egyptians, right? Because that's what he is. It's going to affect the Israelites. He is requiring all pregnant women, if they have a baby boy, to kill their baby boy. You know, there are Hebrew women that are scared about this. You know, there are Hebrew women who don't want to do this, but they're doing it because they're fearful of what may happen to them if they break this law. But there is one woman who is not going to do what Pharaoh asked her to do. She fears God more than Pharaoh. She has this baby, and it's a boy. And she is not going to kill him. You know, they were commanded to throw these innocent babies, these innocent baby boys, into the river and to let them drown. That's how wicked the Pharaoh was. But she didn't do that. Her and her husband hid that baby for 3 months. You know, that was a monumental task, hiding a baby. You know, a baby cries. A baby is so dependent on his mama and his daddy. And they both hid that baby Moses, for 3 months. You know, they later built this little basket. The Bible calls it a little ark. And they put baby Moses in this little basket. You know, she stepped out on faith. You know, she is, allowing God to really protect her baby while the baby's in the basket. To not let any water in on the basket to hurt the baby. You know, when they put the basket out in the river, Moses' sister's close by, and she sees where the basket floats where the basket ends up. You know, there is a person who finds the basket, and it's Pharaoh's daughter. Pharaoh's daughter is bathing in the river, and she sees this basket. And when she opens the basket up, she sees this cute little baby, and he's crying. And she has such compassion for him, and she raises him as her own. You know, Moses biologically is an Israelite. He is raised as an Egyptian. He is raised in the finest of homes, the finest of clothes, the finest of food, and he has servants all around him. But you know, when he grows up, and that's where we're getting to, there's two different accounts that we see of Moses, and really it shows you the person that he really is deep inside. You know, he's raised in the finest of everything. But he sees that what the Egyptians are doing to the Israelites are wrong. The beatings that are going wrong with these slaves, the mistreatments that's going on with these slaves, these Israelites, that what he is biologically, he cannot live the life as an Egyptian anymore. And that's where we get into with the first account with Moses. You know, Moses is going about through his day, you know, like we all do. You know, we go about our days, and we are in situations, and he is in a situation, he finds himself in a situation in which he is actually comes across this wicked Egyptian taskmaster torturing this Israelite slave. This is when Moses has got to step in. He observes it, but he has to step in. Inside him, it is just killing him. He has got to step in for the defenseless. He's got to step in and save this person that's being mistreated and abused. You know, he could have said, you know, that's your problem, and go on with your life. He would go on with his life. You know, he's living in the lap of luxury, right? He's an Egyptian. That's your problem. But he doesn't. He is selfless. He goes in and he defends this slave who's been mistreated. Well, what's the result of this? He ends up killing the Egyptian because he is just laying into this Israelite slave. We're not given a lot of information about this encounter, but we know this, that the result of him defending the defenseless is not the result that you would think it would be. It was not a positive result for Moses. You know, he didn't receive a thank you. In fact, he received the direct opposite. Word of this got back to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh was out for his head. Moses had to flee, and when he is fleeing, he comes across, he's in a different land, okay, going about your day like we all do, right? And he's in a different situation, he's a different land, he's in the land of Midian, and he's thirsty. He's at a well. And what does he see going on? Well, he sees 7 sisters. They're there, and they're getting water for their flocks. And there are these shepherds who are there, and they are mistreating these 7 sisters. You know, these 7 sisters are just wanting to get water for their flock. They're just wanting to do a simple task. They don't want any trouble. They're just wanting to do this. And these shepherds are mistreating these girls and not letting them do such a simple task. Well, Moses sees this. And he could have said to himself, you know, last time when I defended somebody, and I inserted myself into the situation and defended the defenseless, I didn't get a positive result. And you know what? I'm not going to have anything to do with this. These girls can fend for themselves. They're just going to have to deal with this themselves. I'm not doing this. But you know what? He didn't. He continued to do right. Even when he didn't get a positive result last time, he continued to do right. So he inserts himself into the situation, and he defends those 7 girls, those 7 sisters. He not only makes sure that they get water at the well, but he goes back to their home and helps them feed all of their animals. In fact, those girls get back to their home, and their father is asking them, how is it that y'all are back here so soon? Y'all have all of these chores to do. How is it that you're back here? And these girls tell their father, Jethro, you won't believe what happened, Dad. We're at this well, and these shepherds were just being awful to us, and this guy, he helped us. And he not only helped us, he helped us water our flocks. That's why we're back here so soon. And what's Jethro's response? Where is he? Bring him here. You know, Moses continued to do right, and he continued to do right, and look at this result that he got. If he didn't do right in this situation, he would have missed out on some of the biggest blessings in his life. So what blessings did Moses receive from helping these 7 sisters that day? You know, if he hadn't continued to do right in that situation, he would have missed out on some big blessings. He would have missed out on his future wife. You know, he ends up marrying one of those 7 sisters, Zipporah. When they marry, they have a beautiful baby boy, Gershom. And another blessing Moses would have missed out on was this amazing relationship that he had with his father-in-law, Jethro. You know, later on when you read about Moses, he's actually the leader, and he leads thousands and thousands of these Hebrew slaves out of wicked Egyptian bondage. And there are times that he goes to his father-in-law for advice and how to handle situations. So he would have missed out on some big blessings. Let this story be a strong reminder for us to keep doing right even when we don't get a right result. Because you know what? We might be missing out on God's blessings for us in our life. That is my spiritual food for you to munch on the rest of the week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I can't wait to see you next week.